All right, let's journey back in time, way back, to ancient Babylon. We're going to explore a story that honestly sounds like it's pure science fiction. It's about a legendary queen, a city split in two by a massive river, and an engineering project so unbelievably bold it still feels impossible. The world's very first underwater tunnel.
So, who's at the center of all this? Queen Semiramis. And legend paints her as this, totally larger than life figure, a warrior, a city builder, someone who created things on a scale that just boggles the mind. For her, problems weren't really problems, they were just opportunities to do something huge.
And boy, did she have a big one. Her capital city, the glorious Babylon, was literally cut in half by the great Euphrates River. Now, this was a city of immense wealth and power, but that river created a serious divide right between its most important centers. So what does she do? A bridge, maybe a bunch of boats? Nope. She supposedly went for something way, way more dramatic. The plan was to unite her city by digging a tunnel underneath the riverbed. I mean, just pause and think about that. That is such an audacious idea, it's hard to get your head around even today. And that's what we're diving into, the story of this impossible ancient tunnel. And whether it actually happened or not, the story itself tells us so much about how the ancient world saw Babylon. They saw it as this place where, well, where the impossible just might be possible.
And this really puts it into perspective, right? I mean, think about the huge tunnels we have today. They're major, major engineering achievements requiring all our modern tech. So the fact that ancient builders were even thinking about this, with just basic materials like brick and tar, it's just staggering.
Okay, so to really get this legend, we've got to look closer at the two key players here, the queen herself and the incredible city she ruled. And this is where things get really interesting, because you've got the legend versus the reality. The Semiramis of our story, she's basically a mythical superhero queen, a symbol of ultimate power. But she's likely based on a real person, a powerful Assyrian queen named Semiramis. It's like, over centuries, a real historical ruler's story just got bigger and bigger until she became this legendary builder of impossible things. And Babylon? What a perfect stage for a story like this. We're not talking about some small town. This was the megacity of its time, famous for its giant walls, incredible temples. It was a city that already had a reputation for going big. So, of course, a crazy ambitious story like this would be set there. All right, let's get down to brass tacks. How in the world could they have actually pulled this off? This is where we stop talking about myth and start looking at a really cool engineering puzzle. So, the secret weapon, the absolute game changer, would have been this stuff called bitumen. You can think of it like natural asphalt. It's sticky, it's tough, and, this is the crucial part, it's waterproof. The builders of Mesopotamia were experts with it. Honestly, without bitumen, this whole idea is a complete non-starter. So here's the proposed method, and it's actually just brilliant. You don't try to dig under a river while it's flowing. That would be insane. No. You get rid of the river first. You build a dam, you divert the entire Euphrates somewhere else for a while, and boom, you've got a dry riverbed to work in. Then you just dig your ditch, build a tunnel with bricks, slap on that all-important bitumen to make it waterproof, and when you're done, you just let the river flow right back over the top. It's less about digging and more about massive-scale project management. But a project this huge, it's never just about practicality, is it? This tunnel wasn't just a convenient shortcut. No, it was designed to send a message. A really, really powerful one. So get this, the legend says the tunnel connected the two most powerful spots in the entire city. On one end, you have the royal palace. That's the queen's power, earthly power. And on the other, the great temple of Marduk. That's the god's power, divine power. So by linking them with this incredible structure, you're physically connecting the queen's rule directly to the will of the gods. That is some serious political symbolism. It was basically a giant billboard that screamed, "Look at me, I can command armies of workers, I have unbelievable wealth, and yeah, I can even bend a river to my will." It's the ultimate power move, showing everyone that you are in complete and utter control. Which, of course, brings us to the million-dollar question we've all been thinking about this whole time. Is any of this real? Did they actually build it? When we really dig into the evidence, the archaeology, the ancient texts, what's the verdict? Are we looking at a lost chapter of history here? Well, the truth is actually way more interesting than a simple yes or no. Like a lot of things from the ancient world, it's complicated. Okay, so here's the deal. Archaeologists have looked a lot, and there's just no physical proof the tunnel ever existed. But that doesn't mean we should just toss the story out. Think about it. Massive cities always get these incredible, exaggerated stories told about them. The very fact that this legend exists tells us something crucial. It tells us how people saw Babylon. They saw it as this incredible place where something this ambitious, this crazy, actually seemed believable. The legend itself is proof of the city's epic reputation. So why do we still talk about this thousands of years later? What's the takeaway from this mix of myth and maybe history for us today? Well, for one, it shows us that imagination is just as important as technology. Just the fact that ancient builders could even come up with this idea, that they could picture it, plan it out, that shows an incredibly advanced way of thinking about the world and solving problems. They really did dream big. And really, that's the heart of it, isn't it? The story of Semiramis' tunnel is about that timeless human instinct to look at a mountain or a river and say, nope, you're not stopping me. It's about that impulse to design, to build, and to reorganize the world to fit our own ambitions. And that kind of leaves you wondering, right? We're still doing it today, pushing the limits with our own incredible engineering projects. So it makes you think, a few thousand years from now, what are the unbelievable legends people are going to tell about the things we're building right now?